Good morning, spiritual companions. We are reading the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Chapter 12, The Master's Love for His Devotees. Page 515, Friday, April 23rd, 1886. It was Good Friday. Hirananda had taken his midday meal at the Kosapur garden house. About 1 o'clock in the afternoon, he was stroking Sri Ramakrishna's feet. M. sat nearby. Latu and one or two other devotees were going in and out of the room. It was the Master's earnest desire that Hirananda should stay for some time at the Kosapur garden house. While massaging the Master's feet, Hirananda conversed with him. He spoke in a very sweet voice, as if trying to console a child. Hirananda, why should you worry so much? You can enjoy peace of mind if you have faith in the physician. You are a child. Master to M. How can I have faith in the doctor? Dr. Sakar said that I would not recover. Hirananda, but why should you worry so much about that? What is to happen must happen. M. to Hirananda aside. He is not worrying about himself. The preservation of his body is for the welfare of the devotees. It was a sultry day, and the room became very hot at noontime. The straw screens had been hung over the windows. Hirananda adjusted them. The Master looked at him. Master to Hirananda, please don't forget to send the pajamas. Hirananda had told Sri Ramakrishna that he would feel more comfortable if he wore the pajamas used in Sindh. Sri Ramakrishna was reminding him of them. Hirananda had not eaten well. The rice had not been well cooked. The Master felt very sorry about it and asked him again and again if he would like to have some refreshments. On account of his illness, he could hardly talk, but still he repeated the question. He said to Latu, "Did you too eat the rice?" Sri Ramakrishna could hardly keep the cloth on his body. He was almost always naked, like a child. Hirananda had brought with him one or two of his Brahmo friends. Therefore, every now and then, the Master pulled the cloth to his waist. Master to Hirananda, will you take me for an uncivilized person if I don't cover my body with my cloth? Hirananda, what difference does that make with you? You are but a child. Master, pointing to a Brahmo devotee, but he doesn't feel that way. Hirananda was about to take his leave. In a very few days he was going to start for Sindh. Master to Hirananda, suppose you don't go to Sindh. Hirananda, smiling, but there is nobody there to do my work. I have my duties. Master, how much do you earn? Hirananda, smiling, my work doesn't bring me a large salary. Master, still, how much? Hirananda laughed. Master, why don't you live here? Hirananda did not reply. Master, suppose you give up the job. Hirananda said nothing. He was ready to take his leave. Master, when will you see me again? Hirananda, I shall leave for Sindh the day after tomorrow. I shall see you that morning. Hirananda left. M. was seated by the Master's side. Master to M. He is a very fine young man, isn't he? M. Yes, sir. He has a very sweet nature. Master, he said that Sindh is 2,200 miles from Calcutta, and he has come all that way to see me. M. True, sir. That would be impossible without real love. Master, he wants very much to take me to Sindh. M. The journey is very painful. It takes 4 or 5 days by train. Master, he has 3 university degrees. M. Yes, sir. Sri Ramakrishna was tired. He wanted to take a little rest. He asked M to open the shutters of the window and spread the straw mat over his bed. M was fanning him. Sri Ramakrishna became drowsy. After a short nap, Sri Ramakrishna said to M, "Did I sleep?" M, "A little." It was afternoon. Many devotees were sitting in the master's room. Narendra, Sarat, Sashi, Latu, Nitya Gopal, Girish, Ram, M, and Suresh were present. Kedar came in. This was the first visit to the master for some time. While staying in Dhaka in connection with his official duties, he had heard of Sri Ramakrishna's illness. On entering Sri Ramakrishna's room, he took the dust of the master's feet on his head and then joyously gave it to the others. The devotees accepted it with bowed heads. All sat without uttering a word. Sri Ramakrishna seemed about to go into an ecstatic mood. Now and then he breathed heavily, as if trying to suppress his emotion. The master drew Kedar's attention to Narendra and said, "He has renounced everything." To the devotees, Kedar once said to Narendra, "You may reason and argue now, but in the end you will roll on the ground chanting Hari's name." Surendra was seated behind the other devotees. The master looked at him with a smile and said to Kedar, "Ah, how sweet his nature is." Kedar understood the master's hint and went towards Surendra. Surendra was very sensitive. Some of the devotees had been collecting funds from the householder devotees to meet the expenses of the Kausapur garden house. Surendra felt piqued at this. He had been bearing most of the expenses himself. Surendra to Kedar, "How can I sit near all these holy people? A few days ago, some of them, referring to Narendra, put on the ochre robe of the sannyasi and went on a pilgrimage to Bodh Gaya. They wanted to see bigger sadhus there." Sri Ramakrishna was trying to console Surendra. He said, "You are right. They are mere children. They don't know what is good." Surendra to Kedar, "Doesn't our Guru Deva, Sri Ramakrishna, know our inner feelings? He does not care for money. It is our inner attitude that pleases him." Sri Ramakrishna, with a nod of his head, approved Surendra's words. The devotees had brought various food offerings for the master and placed them in front of him. Sri Ramakrishna put a grain on his tongue and gave the plate to Surendra. He asked Surendra to distribute the prasad to the devotees. Surendra went downstairs with the offerings. Master to Kedar, "You had better go downstairs and explain it all to Surendra. See that they don't get into any hot arguments." M was fanning Sri Ramakrishna. The master said to him, "Won't you eat anything?" He sent M downstairs. It was about dusk. Girish and M were strolling near the small reservoir in the garden. Girish, "I understand that you are writing something about the master. Is it true?" M, "Who told you that?" Girish, "I have heard about it. Will you give it to me?" M, "No, I won't part with it unless I feel it is right to do so. I am writing it for myself, not for others." Girish, "What do you mean?" M, "You may get it when I die." Footnote. After Sri Ramakrishna's death, M published his notes of conversations with the master in 5 volumes. The Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna is an English translation of these books from the original Bengali. The present book is abridged from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. It was evening. A lamp was lighted in the master's room. Amrita Basu, a Brahmo devotee, came in. Sri Ramakrishna had expressed his eagerness to see him. M and a few other devotees were there. A garland of jasmine lay in front of the master on a plantain leaf. There was perfect silence in the room. A great yogi seemed to be silently communing with God. Every now and then, the master lifted the garland a little, as if he wanted to put it around his neck. Amrita tenderly, "Shall I put it around your neck?" Sri Ramakrishna accepted the garland. He had a long conversation with Amrita. When the latter was about to take his leave, the master said, "Come again." Amrita, "Yes, sir, I should like to come again very much. But I live at a great distance, so I cannot always come." "Master, do come and take the carriage hire from here." The devotees were amazed at the master's love for Amrita. The next day M came to the garden house, accompanied by his wife and a son. The boy was 7 years old. It was at the master's request that he brought his wife, who was almost mad with grief owing to the death of one of her sons. That day the master several times allowed M's wife the privilege of waiting on him. Her welfare seemed to occupy his attention a great deal. In the evening, the Holy Mother came to the master's room to feed him. M's wife accompanied her with a lamp. The master tenderly asked her many questions about her household. He requested her to come again to the garden house and spend a few days with the Holy Mother, not forgetting to ask her to bring her baby daughter. When the master had finished his meal, M's wife removed the plates. He chatted with her a few minutes. About 9 o'clock in the evening, Sri Ramakrishna was seated in his room with the devotees. He had a garland of flowers around his neck. He told M that he had requested his wife to spend a few days at the garden house with the Holy Mother. His kindness touched M's heart. M was fanning him. The master took the garland from his neck and said something to himself. Then, in a very benign mood, he gave the garland to M. Chapter 13. After the Passing Away. Sri Ramakrishna passed away on Sunday, August 15th, 1886, plunging his devotees and disciples into a sea of grief. They were like men in a shipwreck, but a strong bond of love held them together, and they found comfort and courage in one another's company. They could not enjoy the friendship of worldly people and would talk only of their master. Shall we not behold him again? This was the theme of their thought and the dream of their sleep. Alone they wept for him. Walking in the streets of Calcutta, they were engrossed in the thought of him. The master had once said to M, "It becomes difficult for me to give up the body when I realize that after my death you will wander about weeping for me." Some of them thought, "He is no longer in this world. How surprising that we still enjoy living. We could give up our bodies if we liked, but still we do not." Time and again Sri Ramakrishna had told them that God reveals himself to his devotees if they yearn for him and call on him with whole-souled devotion. He had assured them that God listens to the prayer of a sincere heart. The young unmarried disciples of the Master, who belonged to his inner circle, had attended on him day and night at the Kosapur garden house. After his passing away, most of them returned to their families against their own wills. They had not yet formally renounced the world. For a short while, they kept their family names, but Sri Ramakrishna had made them renounce the world mentally. He himself had initiated several of them into the monastic life, giving them the ochre cloths of sannyasis. 2 or 3 of the master's attendants had no place to live. To them, the large-hearted Surendra said, "Brothers, where will you wander about? Let us rent a house. You will live there and make it our master's shrine, and we householders shall come there for consolation. How can we pass all our days and nights with our wives and children in the world? I used to spend a little money for the master at Kosapur. I shall gladly give it now for your expenses." Accordingly, he rented a house for them at Baranagar in the suburbs of Calcutta, and this place became gradually transformed into a math or monastery. End of today's reading.